Hey guys, welcome back. Today let's talk about Hench, xiàn, qiāng. Hench is a Manchu language word, but before exploring this word, I'm going to share with you guys a historical photo. And on the internet, this might also be a kind of very famous photo. This is a soldier from the Qing dynasty of China in the 19th century. We can see that from this photo, there is a firearm on the soldier's hand, and it's very clear that this is a kind of a matchlock firearm. And this kind of stranger firearm is the Hench, besides the Mailchim, Niao Qiang, which have been mentioned in my previous video. It's another type of a firearm from the Qing dynasty, and meanwhile, is the name of the lead gunpowder weapon category. Okay, now it's time to check the meaning of this word in Manchu language dictionary of the Qing dynasty. Hench, Mailchim gormikan, 두바이 그렇게 시부시군의 클린닝을 버 Hiyanci same, but kasharta batalame, which means the Hench is longer than the Mailchim. Then lower part of this gun is narrow and thin, and also people used this gun when they were hunting. Plus, there is another version of the dictionary, which has another simple explanation. Henchi, chohanyagura hachindobe, which means Hench is a kind of military weapon, although some sentences are a little abstract from writing between the lines. We still can know Hench, which is not only a kind of a military weapon just like the photos, but also a kind of weapon for hunters. Meanwhile, Hench may also be identified as the variant or branch of Mailchim. When we talk about an Asian firearm, the front side, rear side, ram rope, those are the most important parts for almost every kind of Asian gun. Those three parts also were the most important. But when we watch Hench carefully, we may find that it looks like Hench actually didn't have those three parts. Although actually there are some Hench with the front side, those three parts were not added to the gun's body at the same time. To be honest, when I knew this point at first, I was very surprised, so I just went to find the Asian book in order to try to find if the gunsmiths intended to not make those three parts. When I read this book, 皇朝礼器图示, I found that indeed it was intentional. I found there were two key points, 不加星斗,不纳硕杖, which means this gun didn't be added the front side and the rear side, and without the ram rope, and its length is indeed longer than most of Mailchim. So overall, Henchi likely was a kind of simplified Mailchim. Plus, there's a point which is worth mentioning. This is a bullet. In our mind, maybe the bullets of a Matchlock gun generally is a kind of small metal ball, but for this Hench gun, its bullets are a kind of many tiny metal grams. 铁砂 is similar with the shotgun bullets nowadays. When I made this video, I suddenly remembered a documentary that I watched when I was a teenager, which is about the life of the Miao people in Basha village. One of their cultural symbols is the firearms. Part of their firearms are a kind of a percussion lock gun, or we called a kind of Mailchim with a percussion lock mechanism. From this gun's shape, it's very similar with the Hiyanci of Qing. So according to this gun, we may infer the usage of those Asian firearms from hundreds of years ago. Although this gun doesn't have the ram rope, they have a small toe, which can be pulled into the barrel with rocking the gun. This small toe can move in the barrel very smoothly and freely, and finally can turn the gunpowder and the metal gram bullets. Then the last step is to just fire it. In addition, because of the absence of scientific thinking in the Qing dynasty, the result is not good to do the job of standardization, just like the Hench, xiàn. Some of them were installed the Turkish-style trigger system, and some mechanism of the gun were the Japanese style. But there is an opinion many civilian firearms were the Japanese style, just like in this photo took in 1944. The gun in the middle position is a typical qiāng. Even though the Qing dynasty have been gone for many years, we still can find some old firearms from the Qing dynasty era reserved among the people, but the army of Qing likely preferred to use the Turkish style. By the middle of the 19th century, gradually, more and more firearms of Qing, also including many rebel foes, just like the military of Taiping heavily kindled. The firearms were on the way to level up, so appeared some firearms which had the Hench's shape but added a precision lock trigger system. Okay, this is today's video. To be honest, not the first when I was planning this video, I thought it might be very difficult to make this video, because at that time it was not very smooth to find the materials, but anyway, I finally got the direction and completed this. Hope you can like this video. Have a good day. See you next time.